Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Cinema Don't Pray. I'm your host, Chuck, joined by
Justin.
And this week, talking about the movie The City of Violence. We're connecting it back to Beau Is Afraid. Do you think you picked up on the connection there?
Is it like the over-the-top surreal setting?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just in general that they're. I mean, my first thought when I was trying to think of what could I connect to Beau Is Afraid, I knew this movie. I'd already seen it, but it wasn't the first thing that came to my mind. But my first thought was I just Googled like violent city movie, and it's like, oh, rearrange the words City of Violence, and I was like, yeah, I guess that's kind of like it is very much like it doesn't even feel like a real city in South Korea. It's like the most over the top like imagining of what would go on in like some other city, like your hometown. It's the main character's hometown that he hasn't been in 10 years, and it's taken over by gangs of hockey players. It straight up turns into the Warriors at one point. There's a scene that's literally just the Warriors, including baseball players in face paint.
Well, yeah, I was going to say,
goes
when
all
they
in.
all start surrounding them and they all have different themes, and I was like, it's the Warriors. And the baseball players literally have shirts that say Warriors. I was like, they're not.
That's like the funniest. Like they're not even. He doesn't even remotely try to hide that one scene in particular is very specifically referenced to the Warriors.
It does start in like, I want to say, a subtle way, but it escalates.
It escalates to like being ridiculous.
But it does start as like he's fighting a breakdancing group and we'll say gang, a breakdancing gang, the main character, and he's fighting a yo-yo gang.
These guys with yo-yos. Yeah, I love the part where they all like freeze in position. They're all like doing headstands. They're all just like frozen in place. And he's looking around so confused as to what's happening. Then they all like do splits and start spin kicking at him.
But then when he tries to like get away from it because there's like a hair too much, it's like, yeah, all these people with hockey pucks and then baseball bats, and the guy,
there's a bunch of like schoolgirls that are like their own gang.
They like slap shot the hockey puck into the guy, and then he turns around. Someone hits a baseball into him, like,
which I assume is probably I guarantee. Obviously, they didn't hit him like someone hit it with a bat, but I'm sure he just had a padded shirt, and someone off stage is literally just throwing a baseball directly at his chest, and is just like, "I'll try not to hit your face."
It's probably prop. It's probably not as heavy duty either.
I would hope not.
Yeah, you don't know. Korea. This is
2006. It's not necessarily the old Jackie Chan days of his Chinese movies, but still largely, I think, practical stunts of just. I mean, you can tell these guys are really going through tables. Like there's no cuts on a lot of those shots of them taking the falls and stuff like that. So they're actually doing these stunts.
It does seem like it could potentially be a normal film for like 5 minutes until you get the first flashback and you get this like fight between high schools, I guess. Then,
they're on a summer field trip or spring field trip.
Yeah, it was like a super violent fight in like a river or something, like a very low river that ended up with them losing and getting like buried
up to their necks in dirt.
I would like to say left for dead.
Yeah. They're like, we can't scream for the children. They're like, I think there's children playing down the hill. They're like, let's scream. And the guy's like, come on, man, we have to have some dignity. And it's like, well, then we'll just sing really loud till someone hears us and wonders what we're doing up here.
I mean, there are people walking past them, or at least one
person.
Don't care, yeah.
They don't seem to care that they're there. Yeah, it's such a weird film. Yeah, starts off with a guy gets stabbed. That he's our friend of our main characters. They were all former friends when they were in high school. I guess most of them like drifted off. Our main character is in Seoul as a police detective. Which I like his introduction of like the police station's insane there, like all the criminals are just screaming and throwing stuff, and he has a bunch of fat guys with no shirts like handcuffed at his desk. And his phone starts ringing, so he has to kick one of them to hand him his cell phone.
I guess maybe you're right. Yeah, I guess it is ridiculous within the first couple
It has
minutes.
some it
I
has
was
some
already
ridiculous.
like forgetting all the gang members that were like sleeping on his desk, and he's like, hand me my phone.
Yeah, they have to show you he's a tough guy that doesn't take any shit from anyone.
He's not scared of anybody, but he does get tired a lot. There's a lot of scenes where he's like, no, please, let's just stop this. I can't keep doing this.
Yeah, yeah, but he's got to go back to his hometown, and he's got to figure out this mystery of what happened,
And
why
it's
his friend
pretty
got killed.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious what happened, I would say. I mean, even before you before getting the reasoning, like you have a good idea of who did it. Like
I feel like it's one of those, if you've seen enough movies like this, your first thought is, oh, it's the friend that's like seems shady with his dealings. I mean, they even flat out, I think, reference at his funeral that he's a gangster and he's like followed around by all these people. So it's very obvious right off the bat that guy's into some shady business. That's definitely going to be, yeah. You kind of assume, you're like, this guy definitely was the one that had him killed. There's no doubt about it. So you kind of anticipate that, and yeah, you get some weird moments from him with the way he threatens people when he has that one guy in the pool at the sauna. That's where he
mhm.
takes everyone to beat him up or torture him, and they like have to keep going back and forth. Should we cut off his thumb or his pinky? I don't know. Why don't you cut off his tongue? He won't shut up. They're like, yeah, but then that'll make a mess. Like, let's just do the whole hand. It's
Yep.
like, but if you take his foot, then he has to use both his hands for crutches, and he still doesn't have a foot. You've really handicapped him if we take the foot. You're like, you know what? That is a good idea.
Yeah, and he's the only one that's kind of really like that. Because what's the one's like the main character's a detective, one's dead, one's like a martial
Kind of like a
instructor.
the one's kind of like just he's like the youngest, so he's like a kid that doesn't is not defined what job he has. I don't think he does a bunch of stuff, and then his older brother is like just kind of like a bum that just lives at home still, and say like leeches off his family because he failed studying for the bar exam to become a judge, so he wasted all of his family's money.
And one of them is the director of the movie. I think it's like
So
he's the kid one.
yeah,
If you want to call him a kid, the younger one.
I mean, he's the younger one, I guess. I mean, he was still in high school with the rest of them, but I think he's just like a year younger than them, I guess. But they do constantly refer to him as being like, "Hey, you're the kid around here. You're the young guy."
Not so much in my subtitles, but yeah.
Subtitles are a little different. When you had three translations later, they were might have been a little off in some stuff.
Yeah, some of them I think were pretty accurate. At least I got the general idea of what they were always talking about, whether it was direct. Most of the time it was pretty direct as to what they wanted, and then other times it would be like not, I guess. I mean, most of it was like, "Hey, what's going on with this?" And they would just be like, "I'm not telling you." Followed by, "Okay, I'll tell you."
I mean, yeah, this movie's mostly about the action, the dialogue. Most of the dialogue is just like, well, here's why this character is bad, and this is what this character did. Yeah, there's not, it's not a ton of real in depth things. I mean, a lot of it they just do in flashbacks anyway to kind of show you
Right.
what's going on. Yeah, so the guy that's the villain, Pilho, is his name, and yeah, trying to turn his town into a tourist trap, basically, by getting a casino built there. But in order to do that, he has to take all of the villagers' homes and properties from them to make way for this giant casino to be put in there and turn it into a tourist destination so that people want to come visit there. So he has to rip everyone off. That's why he has to kill his best friend.
Yeah, it's not the
He's
deepest of plots, but I think
his
the
best friend
action's
was a
fun.
gangster, but he didn't. He's a gangster. It's like it plays off of that. I think it's like implied that the other guy, Wong Jae, the guy that gets killed at the beginning,
Yeah.
is like the good type of gangster. Like he helped out the community type. Like he would still like loan people money and beat them up if they didn't pay him back, but it was always like trying to keep their community, safe and enforced by being the gangster in the area. Like if there was anyone came in the area, he would, run them out or something like that. But once he got too old and just wanted to own a bar, I guess.
Yeah, my translation kept calling it a casino. He was like I want to build this casino, and they're like, you're not taking my land for this casino. And I was just like, guess we're gonna have, guess they're gonna have to kill you.
Got to make way for that casino.
Yeah, his friend dies. He goes to the funeral. It's sus. I like how it's just sort of like he doesn't need a very strong intuition to be like this. I don't think that this was just circumstantial like bar fight thing that got out of hand. I think that there was some motivation behind this. So the detective kind of picks that up on a hunch and then goes out. And I think the thing, I didn't know anything going into this movie except knowing that like it kind of apparently had like the South Korean old boy vibe, but I would say it was maybe closer to like the Shaw Scope movies that we watch. I really do think a lot of the action scenes in this movie are really well done, even though it gets kind of ridiculous. And the director definitely knows when to show things and when not to show things, because like there are some funny scenes where like they have that like towards the end there's like this big fight with these gentlemen that are having tea with their ladies or prostitutes or something, and they're like bow out, and then all the men have knives, and there's this big fight sequence where they fight all these guys with knives.
But it
And
has
then
the
they have
best. You skipped over the introduction to all the guys because that's like one of the funniest moments when they walk in and it's just those two guys, the two guys at first, and they're just like,
oh yeah, yeah,
"Oh,
yeah.
great!" And then the one guy pounds on the table, and then 20 doors open. It's this giant, long like corridor of there's two guys in every room for 20 rooms down. It's like at first they're like, oh, "I guess we have to fight these two guys," and then like, "Oh God, we have to fight 40 guys."
Yeah, I did. Yeah, sorry, I did miss that. That was a great setup of like what's next, and they just these two guys, and then yeah, it ends up being 20 guys. All the doors are like down the whole
Yeah, in like
hallway
perfect
opening up.
succession.
But yeah, when they get to the second hallway part, and there's that guy with a sword, and then they're like, no,
They're just
no,
like
please,
tired. They're just like, no,
yeah.
we're done with this.
And it doesn't show the fight at all. It's just him like getting kicked off a fucking balcony. Like they just skip over that entire fight.
It's like we can't anymore. We can't with this guy.
We ran out of money for this scene, so all our actors are very tired. They're all stunt people. They're all losing it right now.
Yeah, I mean their stuntman budget must have been huge because every fight is typically these two guys versus like 200 guys. It's very rarely up until the very last fight where it's just the four, I guess the four bodyguards that are always with the villain. Other than that, every fight is just an insane amount of people versus these two guys, whether it's the street fight or when they're first going to that restaurant and there's like 100 guys all working outside in the front gate. There's just so much stuff going on like that. But yeah, he does. I think this movie at least it works well because it's only 90 minutes. He doesn't go crazy with trying to stuff this with a bunch of weird things going on. I guess. Well, I mean, there are weird things going on, but he kind of tries to
I
just
mean, the
keep the pace
action
moving.
probably it probably took a long time to shoot this, but after they had to cut all that action sequence together, it just ended up being a very short movie.
Yeah, but I mean, the action scenes are all great. I do love. I love the parts too where they're trying to figure out. Which again, it feels like you should just know who the villain is right off the bat, and I think they are vaguely suspicious of him, but they want to like try to get to the bottom of it. So they have like that long montage of them going and beating up all of the people that they got into that street fight with. Like first they go to the skate park Like the one skateboarder just runs right into him, like he runs into a brick wall because he's just standing in front of one of the ramps, and he immediately drops. So they just keep like following around all these people till they get to one of the schoolgirls from the gang. They're just dangling her over the edge of a
Mhm.
bridge. They're like, "You
I
got to tell
almost
us who it
wish
is."
like the only like change that I don't know. I think it would make it funnier, but I wish like the gangs, because they're supposed to be kids, were like younger kids. Because it'd be really fucking funny watching these two guys go around and just beat up children. Like they go to this, yeah, like when they go to the skate park, the nobody at the skate park seems like they're really that young. It would it would be funny if they were like 12-year-olds and they're just kicking the shit out of these 12-year-olds for answers. Yeah, hanging like a 12-year-old girl off the bridge. Like, yeah, you're gonna give us the answers that we need. Yeah, this is all full grown men. But yeah, there's so many shots that I enjoyed. The one where he's like walking away and the fucking yo-yo flies out in front of his face. When they are doing that montage of like questioning people, I feel like that's the one where like they find the people in that like teacup ride and he like kicks the teacup and then it spins around and he slaps the guy in the head.
Keep slapping the guy. Yeah,
Yeah, it does have a really good choreography, like really good setup to that type of stuff. I'm sure there's way more things that happen, like you said, with the pounding on the door and all the doors open up where there's like a misdirect for like just a few seconds. But yeah, I don't know. It's just full of weird weird shit like that.
yeah.
I mean, every scene's pretty intense. Like the camera's I think always moving. I don't think the camera's ever like it's always like moving in on a person or something or moving around people. And I even like that scene where like they try to settle stuff with they duct tape the hands together to do the fight. Like even that's kind of ridiculous, but it's like they make it out to be like sort of like a gang tradition or like a childhood fight tradition or something like that.
Yeah, there's all sorts of. I think yeah, there's a lot of. I'm sure. I think a lot of the stuff's very specifically like Korean culture things that just aren't. I want to say don't even translate, but they're just like we're not even going to try to explain this. This is just something that you'd see in South Korea with gangsters or something like that. And they get like the one of the things
The
when
scaffolding
we
is
get
funny.
yeah when we get the flashback to when they're kids and he's like the one guy puts a snake in a bottle of, and he's like making snake tonic. It'll give us like endurance. It's a weird like thing. And one guy's like, let's drink it. He's like, no, we have to save it for 20 years. We'll have to hold on to it or something. He eventually has that bottle. He drinks it and bites the head off the snake. But then he doesn't even. I guess, yeah. I mean, he has endurance for the rest of the movie. It doesn't help him in that moment because he still he immediately gets beat up by that guy's friends in the sauna. They just keep beating the crap out of him. But he has the endurance to make it to the end.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, in my shitty translation, like never said anything about it giving them endurance. It sounded more like it was like a traditional thing that like they're going to be friends for so long that they'll pop this thing open in like 20 years and they'll be the best of friends. So like that scene where he's like drinking it without his friend and bites the head off, like I feel like the head is maybe equivalent to something like drinking the worm in your tequila, like the last person supposed to get the worm. And that guy was just like, fuck the rolls and, bites the head of the snake off. Because when he tosses the bottle to his buddy and they do the close up of like the headless snake, the buddy's like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, nothing like drinking the decomposing body of a snake from 20 years previous.
Yeah. And a lot of Coca Cola stuff too.
I think Coke
They're
might be
like
the main
almost always
sponsor.
drinking a Coke. They're like committing, well, it is a city of violence. They'll be torturing somebody and someone's drinking a Coke. And it's like I guess Korean Coke's okay with this. I don't know if Coke cares or not.
I do know every time I see anything with any type of like reality show or something made in South Korea, even today, that is all anyone drinks is it's specifically Coke Zero because they all want to be health conscious and they don't want to drink full sugar Coke. and it's always Coke Zero. Like I've never seen anybody drinking anything other than Coke Zero in any Korean program that they have. They'll always have something there, and it's always like Coke Zero. But then it is also funny too because they have weird, I don't know, like I guess like censorship rules. I think it might have similar things. Like I think I know the UK has very specific like in media programs you can't just have like advertising for brands. So they'll always have like a Coke Zero and it'll have like one red sticker over the A in Coca Cola, and they'll be like, "It's fine, no one can tell what that is. We covered the A." It's like, I can still
Yeah, I
tell
mean
you're
that
drinking Coca
sometimes it's
Cola.
like even though it says Coke Zero, Coke is the logo, so maybe it's just the logo, not that they can't read it, so they do something like that's like Apple computers, like you can tell it's a fucking Apple, and they always have like a sticker to
Always have a
slap right
round
where the
sticker right in the middle.
yeah,
Yeah.
or some case or something over it. I mean, I do know that as far as that goes in America, a lot of the studios have specific rights. So, like, I've seen what the lawyers do when they go over scripts, where they'd be like, they drink Cokes, and they'd be like, well, we're fucking we're Pepsi, so it's got to be changed to Pepsi, or we got to find some sort of alternative. Like,
Well, I mean, Apple has the biggest one because, like, I know that's still like a long running thing of like the villains in movies can't use Apple products. Like, you never see a villain use an iPhone because Apple will not let their phone be shown in the possession of a guy for whatever reason. I don't know why they have like a weird connotation that people will watch a movie and be like, "Oh my god, that serial killer had an iPhone. Now I don't want to buy
you
an
know what?
iPhone."
Well, that's a little different though, because they probably not they every studio probably has to reach out to them individually. Like it's
Yeah.
not like as like because they'll do vehicles and stuff like that. So like there's no question like we could use Ford for everything because we've already worked that out. But I guarantee you, as dumb as it sounds, like how you're saying it now, it's probably a scenario like that Sex in the City where they had the dude die on the
Peloton.
Peloton. Because like, yeah, you say no bad guy can have it. And it's like, yeah, in general, that doesn't sound it sounds kind of stupid, but like, I mean, anything could happen. Like they could
Yeah.
take the iPhone and like shove it down someone's throat or up their ass or so, like it could become a whole different thing. It's like they didn't just use it, they fucking used that iPhone. They're like, is that the Max? Shit. Yeah, I get it a little bit though, but then I don't know. It's product placement. Who really cares? But yeah, I guess you could have like the next Tony Montana. It's like doing coke off the phone or something. Hand me my apple. I'm gonna do some coke. I don't know.
I mean, sometimes it probably is hard to predict like whether something will, you know, yeah, the companies can't predict even if they read the script and see like, oh, our product's going to be used in this scene, they can still read it and just go, I guess that's fine. But it still sometimes does just turn into a meme where it's like, great, now we're forever associated with this thing that we didn't think we'd be associated. We read the script and still didn't think that was what people were gonna come away with when they watched this movie.
Yeah, and I saw a similar thing recently. It was with the score with John Williams for the new Superman movie, and apparently, like he owns the rights to the score, so they basically show him the completed movie and say, like, "This is where we're going to use the score. Are you okay with that?" Like it's like a request of his that he has to see exactly how it's being used for the movie. So it's like even though it's the Superman movie, it's like nope, John Williams, he's got to make sure that you're using it at a good moment. He tells you when. I guess he didn't really like fight him at all, but it was just like apparently that is his contract that he's got to see the movie and where it's going to be like with his music on it so he knows how it's going down. But yeah, but besides this, this movie made me think of like yeah, a lot of those earlier South Korean movies, kind of like Old Boy, obviously a little bit more ridiculous. Because I feel like even though Old Boy has these like crazy fight scenes, they're a little bit more realistic. Like the characters are getting the crap beat out of them, and like they're still taking on 20 guys with a hammer, but it's but you can feel that they're not the greatest, so they still get beat up to an extent.
Yeah, I would agree. This leans closer to like classic Chinese kung fu style. Like, yeah, like other than other than some parts here and there, it's not even like really that bloody. A lot of people are just getting like they basically just get kicked in the face and go down. Like they're not straight up getting cut to pieces. Again, other than the very final scene where people are getting
Cut
stabbed
to
and
pieces.
getting their fingers cut off and everything. But up till that point, like nothing major like bloody or super violence happening. He kind of
It's
saves
not
it
even
all for
all
the
that
end.
bloody. I mean, you do see some blood spatter, but it's not really that excessive. The one guy, the brother director of this movie, he wears this outfit, and like the way he interrogates people, he's dressed like the character Shenmue from the Dreamcast game. He's got the jacket and the jeans on. And a lot of it reminded me of that game too, where it's like something weird about like they go to interrogate people, but like if they're beating somebody up, it was like 90% of the time kicking, like kicking with their legs and shit like that, instead of like a more American thing would be like just punching or stabbing or threatening. Like, and it's just like I don't know. It's really funny to just watch them do like a jump kick off a wall, start like intimidating people. Like I just think, I in America it would be a lot funnier to be like, I'm gonna show this person, and then you just start doing kicks in the air and shit. And they're like, oh fuck. But yeah, not as serious as Old Boy. I didn't see. I don't know if I've seen anything by this director. Did he do anything else that I would know? Do you think I would know,
I
or
don't
that
think
you've
so.
even seen?
No, this is the only one of his I've seen. He's still directing. He's still making movies, but I think he's more. I'm sure he's known more in Korea. I'm sure all of his movies are popular there, but not as many have been translated or released in America as much. It's one of those. I only kind of came across this movie because it's one of those like it was randomly at a used DVD store, like probably CD Warehouse, I think, and it's just like I like you again. I have to like go out of my way to look in the kung fu or martial arts section, and it's like, yeah, that sounds interesting. Like I'll give that a shot. But I think not a lot of his other movies are all carried over into America, which is not super uncommon. I mean, as popular as South Korean films are, they're still producing a lot more than actually gets released in America, depending on how popular people think it is. I mean, really, of all the your big ones that'll keep getting released here, it's Bong Joon Ho, Park Chan Wook. Uh, what's the I can never remember the name of the guy that did I Saw the Devil. I always forget his name, but he's like another one. Like those are the ones that always
Yeah.
get released in America pretty consistently. Their movies seem to do well enough that they'll keep getting released. But I think more and more, that's why a lot of this stuff's getting more on like Netflix and Amazon Prime to streaming because they know it'll do better to release it digitally than trying to put it in theaters or even give it a physical release.
Right.
It's a lot more cost effective for Netflix to do the same thing they do with like Squid Games and all the other shows that they're going to put
Yeah.
on.
Train to Busan, like stuff like that. Well, there was a bunch of like I think around this time, maybe a little bit, maybe actually, probably realistically, maybe like 4 years after this movie came out, you'd get a lot of South Korean movies that were coming like just DVD. And I think it was probably because of like Old Boy. Old Boy got really
That was the
popular.
biggest, like the first big one in America.
Yeah, and then it's like then they started pulling things that they've done in the past, and they've been kind of slightly more accessible. Like I think that you can find a lot of things easier. Was it Man from Nowhere? Like I can think of just a ton of random things. It's like it just kind of showed up
Yeah,
on the Blu-ray shelf one day, and it was just like, yep, this is made by a bunch of South Korean people.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of them that they don't get they don't get brought up in America as much. Like another one that you can see a lot of the moments in the John Wick movies. There's a movie called The Villainess that was a few years ago, and that was the same. It just kind of got released on DVD. It didn't get like a huge release, but it has like these crazy motorcycle chase scenes that are 100% in whichever John Wick 2 or 3 or something like that. That it's like they're not shot for shot, but they're definitely the director
I think
watched that movie
3,
and was
where
like,
he's on the
I think
horse.
it's yeah, yeah. But there are definitely scenes where it's like, okay, they definitely saw this South Korean action.
Well,
So
you know
there's
what?
a
I
lot.
did when I looked up the actors, the main actor in this is in Ballerina from the world of John Wick.
There's the connection. Yeah, I would say, as ridiculous as some stuff is in this movie, I could almost guarantee that the directors of John Wick and all of them have seen this movie. I mean, they're all stuntmen, so I'm sure they study all of these Korean, Chinese, Japanese martial arts movies and learn moves from it.
I mean, it just looks it looks a lot better, even though it's over the top ridiculous. Like you could tell that they're really kicking and punching and moving and like I said, like the choreography is real. It's not like a lot of things that we're getting today that are just CG. This shit's
Yeah.
happening.
Well, CG, or they do like a lot of like he does a lot of wide angle shots, even in the big, well, to do like the big crowd fights. They're all actually there. Versus a lot of American action films that it's all cuts. There's so many cuts in the fight scene that you start to be
Yeah.
like, I can't
Like the
even tell
Bourne
where.
movies. Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't
I
know
can't
where
even
they're
tell what
at
we're
or who
looking
they're
at.
fighting.
Like, I can't tell what's happening. Like, I like that he does, close shots of some very particular, when he wants to show a really cool action scene, he'll get real close. But then for the most part, he'll just pull the camera back and it's just a wide shot. And that's why I think he at least makes sure that whoever they're fighting is always dressed very differently from the main character. So you always can pick them out, even these big wide shots, like having the people dressed as
Mostly.
baseball players or something. Yeah, mostly. Or at the end, they have those guys that are in like the all white outfits, so they
Yeah.
stand out.
When they're fighting those first guys that were eating and they have like that top down view, I'm like, they're all wearing the exact same colored suits. Like, I'm assuming they're the two guys that aren't stabbing each other in the middle. But yeah, usually there's some like color coordination with like the hero or something. Not to be like, this is the good guy, but just so when the action sequence is happening, you can like distinctly tell the people apart from one another. But yeah, I mean, even the like that first kind of big fight scene with all the gangs, like yeah, the gangs were all very distinctly different looking, but when they all started to like mix together in the fights, which I don't even know who the fuck they were fighting, because I mean, there's only two people that they should be fighting. But
Yeah,
really
but it seems like
like
there's too many people. Yeah,
it
or
seems like they're all
maybe it's
fighting
because
each
all those
other or
gangs.
something.
Yeah,
Like I don't know.
maybe all the gangs hated each other too. But so while they were there, they also fought each other. But I mean, yeah, that scene is great. I do love you. You brought up like the scaffolding. I do love them knocking it over, and like they knock over the first two, then they get that third. There's two guys just randomly on it. And they're like, "Hey, we're up here," and they're like, "Well, grab onto the wire above."
Yeah,
And
then they get like
they
electrocuted.
knock it
or
over. Yeah,
something.
sparks are going everywhere. Yeah, everything blows up.
Well, actually, it was well timed because like after they fell and the sparks ignited, it just looked cool when they were walking away with all the lights going down. So it had a purpose. It had to be cool. But no, I don't know. I don't know where I'll go from here. I could do South Korean. I could do Kung Fu now. I could do a lot
Yeah,
of
you can
things
go
now.
anywhere. Yeah, you do Coca-Cola.
I could do Coca-Cola.
Just tie it in somehow.
One thing that I was thinking could have tied to Beau Is Afraid is when he gets hit by a car, but he doesn't.
Yeah,
He doesn't wake up in someone's house. He's just like slightly injured from it,
yeah.
even though it's a really violent car hit. He like
This is
pulls
more or
it.
less like, what the hell?
Yeah. But I mean, the fights are really good because like the gangs that are all very distinct, like the ones that show up on bicycles and stuff, and he
Yeah.
takes that guy's bicycle and he's like trying to use it as a weapon and like
Throws
throw
it.
it at people.
He just yanks the guy off the bike and just throws the bike at everyone.
which I'm sure I'm really going to enjoy the movie. I mean, at least I hope I do. But the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie, one battle after another, that comes out in like a month or so. There's like, I mean, there's a lot of weird shit going on in it, but there's like this shot that I keep seeing with like a bunch of skateboarders. It's like, I don't know if it's a skateboarding gang, but I'm like, I really kind of hope that there's something like insanely ridiculous about all these skateboarders in it. Like there's this revolution and the skateboarders are part of it. I don't know. But it does look funny. It does look good. Yeah. Good connection. I don't think there were any crossovers between actors or crew, but it wasn't the runtime. You cut that in half. But yeah, it's definitely like a surreal world. And you are right. It's like, I thought it was like 5 minutes. You're like, no, it's like within 30 seconds. You see how ridiculous everything is. I mean, there's some really cool shots, like that one shot when I think it is the hallway, and they're showing the boss, and he's smoking a cigarette, and he puffs the smoke, and then it becomes the scene like in the smoke, but then it's like rectangular and it grows out to like
they do a lot. Yeah, they do a lot of weird.
Then he fades away.
Yeah, they do like a lot of weird transitions and wipes and stuff in this movie. And they do have.
Some of it's kind of cool. Like I kind of like appreciated the like we're having a phone call and it's just showing the guy like in his own rectangle, like his own space, and they're like, we're not cutting back and forth. There was a few times where they did split screen and like it just felt weird. I mean, maybe not necessarily unnecessary, but like it'd be like, we're gonna split screen these guys right now, and I'm like, I don't really know if they're doing anything like distinct enough that they couldn't choose one or the other, but it's not like they came together or did anything crazy with what was it, Kung Fu Hustle or some weird shit like that. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was good. More of that, please. You can't find it anywhere right now, though. Just so you know.
Good luck. You have to find a used DVD, probably.
Yep, that was a fucking lie. I tried Plex, Tubi. I was all over the place. But with my VPN, I was able to switch it to Taiwan. Went on Disney Plus. But there weren't any subtitles, so then I had to go online to try to find the subtitles, which I found in Espanol.
This movie is hard to find. Even on Amazon, you can only get it from like third-party resellers for $30 minimum.
You know what? Maybe I'll buy it for $30 because then it'll come out everywhere super cheap. That's how those things happen. It's kind of strange though that it is your Blu-ray or your DVD that you have. Is it like an American release or does it look kind of like a bootleg? Oh, it does.
It's one. I think they're still making. It's they release them under the Dragon Dynasty line, which is like I think I was like my copy of Hard Boiled was like that. The first copy I had, like they that's all they release is like Asian action movies. So I have a bunch of them. And it's a regular release, but I think it was the only release that the film ever got. It got released like a couple years after it was released in Korea, and then was like never updated ever again.
I thought it looked good. Like, whatever I was watching on Disney looked fucking good. It looked like at least 1080, if not like a 4K of some sort. Yeah, I mean, I have some movies that I had like that were weird, not like kind of bootleg things like The Good, the Bad, the Weird, and A Bittersweet Life. But now I think I've replaced them. Like I've had different versions. Actually, I think funny I mentioned those two. I like replaced them with versions that aren't American versions, but they're English subtitles because they don't put the blocks or whatever you want to call it on the discs. Region free. They're all region free. But I don't know where I'll go from here. We'll see, and I'll let you know as soon as I can. And I will apologize, people. I haven't been like advertising the podcast very well, like fell behind. So hopefully you're still seeing stuff here. I'll probably put up a post that's just like, hey, just so you know, The City of Violence, Beau Is Afraid, What was before that? Was that Apostle? Like, these all need advertising. Like, no one knows that we're releasing the episodes unless they subscribe, which is, hey, that's why you should subscribe to our podcast. And we'll be back in 2 weeks with my pick of something. All right. Are we good?
I think we are.
Okay. All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening.
We are Cinema d'Amore. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with news and information on upcoming episodes. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Pandora, Alexa, or iHeartRadio. It would be greatly appreciated if you subscribe to our podcast on your platform of choice. We also appreciate feedback, so rate us, review us, and let us know what you think. And above all else, thank you for listening.